Right, good afternoon everybody and welcome back to another edition of Thai Talk with Dan. Now, the last video that I shared on the channel, Thailand, a simp's paradise, I got a little bit of a backlash from it. I got 11 simps basically give me a bit of a hard time within the comments and also send me emails. Now, just to reiterate and make it very clear, what a simp actually means is a guy that starts off a relationship and continues that relationship based off of money. And that simp believes that that woman, the Thai woman, actually loves them because she says it. She says, I love you, baby. My buffalo's sick, baby. My grandpa's in hospital, baby. Blah, 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 blah. And these guys fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. But they begun the relationship by starting off by leading with their wallet, and they continued it that way because in reality, these women will not stay with these men if they don't keep on paying. So that obviously triggered 11 guys that are currently in that situation, and some guys cannot be helped. They will continue to simp until they are 6 feet under. Now, on a good note, I actually spoke to a 25-year-old man and his father about the 25-year-old getting involved with a Thai woman that he didn't even get any aerobics out of. But spent money on all the drinks, spent money in a brother-in-law's bar in Pattaya, and he got hooked by her and she was just waiting for that big payday. And I think this guy has finally woken up and he won't continue his pursuit. But also, it has inspired a self-confessed simp to come forward and share his long story, and it is epic. So stick the kettle on, grab a beer, get your popcorn ready, and let's jump in to today's real Thailand simp story. Hey Dan, your video, Thailand, a simp's paradise, inspired me to sit down and write the story of my own recent experience. All the below can be corroborated with line transcripts and wise transactions. It's a live happening story still, and the amount sent to her is real. Now Dan, I will include a few photos. Naturally, names and photos are not for publication. She's the tall one on the left of the lineup, and edit the story as you choose. So let the storytelling begin. Now let's call the story the tale of the experimental super simp. But first, a trigger warning. You are about to read the story of next level simping, done on purpose, mind you.
I smell bullshit.
I wanted to see how far and how fast it could escalate. Now let me give you a bit of a background story about myself to add context to why I did this little experiment. I've made a handful of trips to Jomtien, Phuket and Koh Samui in the last couple of years for a sporting event that I participate in. So I'm definitely not green off the plane for the first time. I've also been a subscriber to your channel for a fair while too, and I have watched just about all of your videos. I am 59, retired, very comfortable now, and in my lifetime I have owned a microbrewery and a few racehorses. I know all about taking a gamble and, importantly, never gamble more than you are prepared to lose. I've learned the best rule on my visits is to adhere to the 1-day rule. Never been inclined to stretch to even 3 days until my visit in July this year in Jomtien. Now, the sporting event that I compete in, it lasts for 4 days. but the trip spans at least a couple of weeks. The trip is with a few mates and we rent a very nice pool villa here in Jomtien. We've found there are always good one-night companions to be found nearby. However, it wouldn't be a trip without paying a visit to the usual honey traps. Soi 6, LK Metro, etc. Never walking street, it has no appeal. Now, did I mention Soi 6? If the viewers are taking notes, write that down. Now, one evening, our group demolishes a good dinner and a solid amount of drinks in Jomtien. Then we load the pockets with Bart to do a bit of bar crawling among the creatures of the night. We'd hit LK Metro the night before, a tasty little 30-something server accompanying me back to the villa for a little aerobic workout. Now, she stayed the night with a little bonus aerobics in the morning before sending her off in a bolt. Looks, 8 out of 10. Aerobics, 9 out of 10. Good value for money.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Now, the next night, we thought we would sample Soi 6. So off we go. Barted up, heads held high, we start at the far end and walk our way to the beach end. Being the handsomest men on Soi 6 that night, we were invited in for many drinks. Many largish bottoms were plonked on my knee throughout our journey. But this story really starts when we are almost at the beach end of Soi 6. Now, admit it, viewers, we all have our type. I'd seen a few of my type as we macheted our way through the screeching and crotch grabs to our next venue. But there really wasn't anyone that I felt like taking back to the villa and disappointing that night. Until a bar near the end, when you're almost ready to give up and go for a second round with another good sort from a few nights before. Until there she stood, like Snow White surrounded by the 7 dwarfs. I'm 6 foot tall and so was she. Long, lean and no big booty. Properly proportioned, not hard on the eye, and my type. So we all sat and we all drank, and I invited her to join me. My mates weren't over the moon about their choices. One had a booty that could have had its own postcode. The other was so cross-eyed, if she cried tears, they would have rolled down her back. So needless to say, the boys only downed a couple and decided to head to the LK Metro for a few dead certs. I, however, decided to stay with the Amazon. Viewers, write that down. Now, having my exclusive attention, the drinks ordering ramped up in frequency. Not a problem. Quickly, things became apparent. She had 0 English and my Thai skills then were basic at best. Now, all the standard questions were asked. Wouldn't it be easier if we just pre-filled in a form and handed one out at each bar? Based on looks, I'd already decided to ask her back to the villa for a swim and an aerobic session if she was keen. But here I must add some supplementary notes for the observant viewers. I will admit to being a bit fascinated, not looks but personality. She had one, a touch of aloofness and a calm maturity. She is 35. Now, a quick interlude here. Christ, Soi 6 is getting expensive. 2,000 baht bar fine and 4,000 baht for long time, corroborated by others throughout our stay. Now, back to regular programming. We head back to the villa. She declines a swim, but I have one. Shower and into bed. Now, call me old-fashioned, but I enjoy a bit of conversation. So despite the language barrier, we did in fact chat for hours with the help of technology. We did have a well-rounded conversation. She's quite a clever girl. During this convo, she tells me this is her first stint at a bar. Note that down. Now, I admit to being pretty wary, so we mutually agreed to sleep without aerobics. Okay, I admit to getting played on that one, but I'd had a massage that morning, so the day wasn't a total loss. Now, the next morning, there were no unpleasant surprises in the looks department. She was, however, reluctant to let me have a decent look. Shy, she said. Yeah, right. With an aerobic session to catch up on after a bit of breakfast dining at the Y, I prepare to throw a sausage down the hallway. Whoa, up goes the hand. Stop. You have to pay extra for that. Like F, I do. However, with a more respectful reply, I indicate I will not be paying extra for what has been agreed upon and suggest that it is time to go. Now, being an honourable bloke, I pay the 4,000 baht as agreed, call her a car and send her on her merry way. A very expensive non-route. Oh well, c'est la vie. Now, an hour later, I'm seeing a cheeky little highly skilled chocolate-skinned masseuse for 1,000 baht, so the world didn't come to an end. However, I will mention at this point I made a rookie error. Cue the collective groan from the audience. We had exchanged line numbers the night before. Guess what? Next night, ding ding ding, the line app is alive and kicking. Guess who? Now, on this occasion, no creature of the night had leapt out and grabbed me by the ghoulies, so to speak. So as the night was drawing toward the witching hour, I thought, F it, why not? Let's see what this tunnel of love is like. Back to that bar, negotiated a lower fine given the hour, and we got a bolt back to the villa. She joined me for a swim this time, then inside for some aerobics.
Sexy time.
Now let me say here, I was actually quite taken with her intelligence and her demeanour, which is a good thing, because the aerobics was a solid 2 out of 10. Tried it on again in the morning. Nope, wouldn't be into it. Paid up and out the door. I'm off to see my little chocolate-skinned wizard again. Now, as a side note, I have formally applied to the UN to be granted International Idiot of the Year status. Why? Read on, loyal viewers. So after the mid-morning chocolate skin tornado has left me like a desiccated husk, I get to thinking the Amazon is very easy on the eye, smart, savvy, a lot of things that I am liking very much. Surely there must be a 5+ out of a 10 in the aerobics department hiding in there somewhere. Okay viewers, I know what you're thinking. Now as the group had been partying and playing hard, we decided to have a lay day. Yeah right, a local expat mate asked us down to a bar in Ban Chang for the day. A very satisfying trip it was too, with the natives. But all the time the lineup is ding ding dinging away. I'll come to hate that sound one day. Now the next day, surprising even myself, I replied to the Amazon early in the morning. I'll bar fine you for the day and take you out for lunch. We'll act like normal people, have dinner with my friends and go to a local club for music and dancing. She is right into it, agreeing. Now, it was a great day and a great night, followed by some dud aerobics, which is a shame. She was a winner otherwise to be with. So that is it. That's my 3-day threshold. Next day I was off to Bangkok for 3 days, then 12 days in Phuket. But they are stories for another time. Arriving home a couple of weeks later, after ignoring the continuous love bombing on the Line app, I decided to experiment. Just how far and how much would this go in 90 days? I reiterate, I can afford to play these stupid games, so I set a budget. Now I won't tell you how much it was, as it will spoil the fun. Now it all started out pretty standard. She had finished her 10-day tag at the bar and was back at her day job as a soldier in the army. I quickly established that this was indeed true and was easily verified. Also verifiable was that it was in fact her first stint at bar work. Besides making overpriced beer and watching my racehorses loose, my career was an IT security architect. So, some online detective work pulled her life timeline together fairly easily. Now, it transpired over the coming months that most of what she told me was actually true. Her career, her family, single mum, reason why, debts and amounts of debt. Apart from standard Thai woman drama, illness, family illness, broken cars, motorbikes, she was easy to get along with. But the requests and the simping had started. Small amounts, little expenses. She had been schooled, but somewhat poorly, by fellow bar girls, as the requests for the usuals as mentioned above, plus gold, a new phone, etc., were poorly scripted and easy to refuse. I must admit, when she asked I have no money, can I have some of yours, the brutal honesty in the question did not offend me. I gave. Then the big whammy. Can you help me with my monthly debt repayment? Maybe. How much? 36,000 baht.
Oh, hell no!
Well, I had seen that one coming, so I asked for proof of the debt's existence, which she gave me. Yep, it was all fair and true. Now, mind you, this is about week 3 of chatting since I'd been home. I reckon she was already into me for about 25,000. So I ask, just this month, right? The reply, I can't afford to pay my debts working in the military, so I am quitting and going back to work in the bar, unless you can support me.
Meep, meep.
Now, only 3 weeks in, already discussing the support plan. Righto, how much? The answer was 60,000 baht per month.
I met a Thai girl in Thailand. She's different.
Now, I should have said yes, it would have saved me an absolute fortune. I could literally be here forever listing all the money that I sent her, as once she knew the tap was open, she twisted it to full bore. Some requests were plausible, others were BS, but I let her have rope. Now, sure enough, the end of August, she resigned from the military, and yes, it was the truth, and went back to Pattaya to work in the same bar. But this is where her honest facade started to slip. I had agreed to provide a stipend to tide her over until she started work. The start date slipped and slipped. I was expected to fund her lifestyle, which I did, until a point that I said no. Now, she wasn't used to me saying no. Anyway, she finally started at the bar again. I told her, if you get bar fined, take it. It's good money and I won't have to pay. But darling, how can I? I love only you. And so it began. The sicknesses, the I didn't make any drinks tonight. If I don't make my quota, I will be sacked. Can you buy me a drink tonight, etc., etc., etc. You all know the score. But as a love-struck simp should do, I supported my darling in her hour of need, all the while keeping up with her mother's medication, hospital visits and broken motorbike, brother's bike accident and hospital bills, sister's relocation home after a breakup, food and formula for the yes, 3-year-old daughter. Darling, you'll come live with us in the north. Darling, will you buy me land? I've found a plot. This is after 6 weeks of chit-chat. Darling, we will need to build a house as aerobics will be impossible while we live with my mother. It could be worse. All the while the support is ka-chinging out of her nearest ATM. Now we also made plans for me to move there. By the way, I had planned a year on a retirement visa anyway to see if I could spend a couple of years living in Thailand. Now as the report requests keep rolling, sick, need medicine, sick, need money for hospital, broken phone, twice, had been sharing a condo with a sponsored friend, had to vacate as friend's sponsor who paid for it was coming to visit. Darling, can you rent me a room? And so on. There is so much detail, it would bore you. But let me say this. I believe deep down she was scared of the poverty that she grew up in and her family still lived in. She tried to build a legitimate career, spending 15 years in the military, but the money was rubbish. It took her 9 years to save 100,000 baht in the bank. She showed me, and it was true. Then she married a doctor in the army. Good catch, right? They had a baby, then a month later, he is fed up and off. Not the life for him. Just a common tale we hear time and time again. She is left supporting everyone as the eldest child. Bar work must be toxic as time marched on. Her attitude to me and money changed from when she was still a soldier or the interim time she was at home to when she was back in the bar. The money requests ramped up. Time for me to visit, I reckon. Me, darling, I've booked a ticket. I'll be there in 2 days. Her, wonderful. So 2 days later, I walk into the bar to basically be ignored. I mentioned she is a bit aloof, right? I got more attention from the other girls who must have been in awe of the idiot Farang who was getting an enema level rinsing. Oh, and speaking of rinsing, my bar bill that night was 32,000 baht. And I refused to bar fine her as my flight came in late, so that peed her off. Closing time. Okay, here we go. Back to her room for aerobics, right? Wrong. Back to her cheap hotel on Soi Pothole. She lets me into her room and says, I will be back soon. What the F? Anyway, I'm shattered, so I lay on the bed and crash out. It's 3 a.m. by this time, and I've been on the go for over 24 hours, and I've had an S-load of drinks at the bar. But when I wake up at about 7 a.m., dry with a mouth like an Arab sandshoe, the bed's empty. Beside me, I was actually pretty unimpressed. She started messaging, darling, you were asleep, so I went out with the girls, obviously celebrating the windfall of her commission on my bar tab. As it turns out, I am not even in her room. She booked a separate room from me, gave me a lame excuse about her aircon not working, BS. And when she came home 2 hours later, she reluctantly came and joined me, very reluctantly. I put the acid on her for some aerobics, which she, even more reluctantly, agreed to. and it was just as bad as the previous visit. Now the next day we move into her room, AC is fine, did normal stuff, lunch, massage together, I got a haircut. All good except to decline to another aerobics session. We go to the bar to pay her out, but already getting a feel for how the week will play out. I only pay for that night, not for the week, and I'm very glad that I did that. Too many drinks at her bar, setting up her friends to give me another rinsing session, only a 15,000 baht bill this time around. We leave, she says she's tired, let's go home. We get home and she declines another aerobic session. Next day, repeat, except the nighttime aerobic session is on and her phone goes off. She picks up her phone and starts typing while I'm going at it. Shortly after, we have a discussion about aerobics etiquette. I think it fell on deaf ears, and the message was from her friends asking her to go out. So I said, sure, go out, and she did. She came home at 10 a.m, slept all day, and she woke up when it was time to go and pay the bar. She was gone for hours, came home, ate, talked, slept. She then wakes me up at 2 a.m, asking to go out with her friends again. Sure, I say, send me photos, and no photos ever came. Now the next morning I've had a good night's sleep by the time she comes in at 8 a.m. Aerobics, darling, I ask. Too tired, she replies, and off she drifts to sleep. But I was well rested and had used my time to pack my bags, so I'm off out. I walked to the beach, had a coffee and a think, and come back to collect my bags for an early flight home. I was supposed to stay for another 4 days. Now 3 hours passes by and panic happens on the Line app. I won't go into detail, but you can imagine the conversation. I'm well on my way to Bangkok by now, but for stuff it, I'm here. Even if I do give her the flick, I should still have some more real aerobics elsewhere. So I got the driver to turn around and I found a new room just around the corner from hers. Anyway, I left her to stew for a night and went for a massage and later dragged a short time back to my new room. The next day I tell her that I just couldn't leave you here and she is all apologetic. So I say, come round now and we'll talk about it. So she says I'll have a quick shower and then I'll be there. 4 hours later, she shows up. We talk, I agree to stay, but we stay in my room, but it's the regular MO. No or bad aerobics. She was that much not into me, she couldn't even pretend. It didn't stop the money requests to keep coming though. My last night there was the same. Dud aerobics, short sleep, then out with her friends. I got photos this time though. Were they real? Doubt it. This time, however, she said I'll be back around 4:30, except she never showed up at all. And I am checking out at 11 a.m. in a car on my way to Bangkok when I get a message. Where are you? She asks. Where were you? I waited, I replied. I'd been in my room. I wanted to test you to see if you'd come to me before you left, she says. What the? Really? Now my flight left at 10:30 p.m, so the next 8 hours were her pouring out the grief and remorse and drama and money requests. This was a month ago and I rapidly dialed down the support payments to almost nothing. I'd go a day or two between talking to her, but she is non-stop messaging and calls as she's now realised the gravy train has finally dried up. She asked why. I answered truthfully. You have blown an entire year's budget in 3 months. I warn you about it many times. Now viewers, it is the time to reveal that budget. And I will do it like this. Each session of appalling bad aerobics cost me 50,000 baht. Yes, 300,000 baht was my budget, and that delivered 6 bad aerobics sessions. Now please don't pity me. I did this on purpose. I can afford it. I spent that amount on the second part of my trip to Phuket. I'm at the point in life where I can afford it and don't give a F what anyone else thinks. What I believe is this girl is genuine about her abject fear of poverty, but has no concept of the value of money or making it last. It is a hand-to-mouth existence, and if we did not have the week where I visited again, I may have taken pity on her and continued to support her or gone to live in the north for at least a while. But I set a time and money limit, and I try before you buy strategy, which the test failed miserably. She's a nice girl, sees the rich phalang as the future for her and her daughter, but has no solid benchmark for what is appropriate treatment of the benefactor. She began okay, but when the seasoned campaigners got in her ear, she went down the path of many before her and tried to lead me down it too. I wish her no ill will, and I am still dealing with the daily bombardment as she is in denial the cash cow has been made into sausages. For me, it's back to the 1-day rule, or as I did in Phuket, a couple of 3-day rules. Cheaper, 9 out of 10 looks, 10 out of 10 aerobics, and no drama. C'est la vie. Right guys, that was a very long story, so I tried to rush through it as fast as possible so I didn't keep it going on for too long. Yeah, the guy says that he had plenty of money, he was happy to do a test, etc. But he did like her, he liked the conversation, he liked how she looked, and he just wanted the aerobics to be awesome and for her to actually give a flying F and like him. And it cost him 300,000 on a failed experiment to get that woman to like him, and it didn't work out. And then obviously he's continued his adventures. But a lot of guys will try to spend the money on trying to get the woman to like them. But a woman should like you anyway without you having to spend any. But when you're talking about bar girls, guys, you're all just customers. It's all you'll ever be, even if they marry you, even if they turn you into a boyfriend. If you get involved with a bar girl, a freelancer, a massage girl, you will always be 1,000,000,000,000% a customer. You're just a good earning customer. If you stay with them long term, you're just a long-term customer. But guys don't like to accept it. But let us know your thoughts and your comments down below. Apart from that, if you've got your own story that you want to share on the channel, get your emails sent in to thaitalkwithdan@gmail.com and we will share them on the channel. Take it easy guys, look after yourselves and don't be a simp here in Thailand. Ciao for now. Bye bye.
Was a simp in the west, now I'm sipping in the east. Hot girls got me feasting, but I ain't the beast. Be my boyfriend, pay my rent, ain't no stress. I said no problem, baby, anything for the finesse. She said a buffalo sick, it needs a doc. I pulled out my wallet like a broken clock. Tick, tick, cash flows, never stop. She blinked once, next thing, we at the go shop. No problem, no problem. I'm the man, going bad like confetti. Got no plan, no problem, no problem. Gold, I love you forever. I said no problem like I'm oh so clever. Her nail sharp, cutting through my cheddar, but I'm in too deep, can't escape the tether. Said her cousin got hospital dues. Send the cash now or it's bad news. I van more quick, not a moment to lose. Thought I won love, but I'm just a fool in her shoes. And no problem, no problem.